I'm a professor of psychology at the Department of Experimental Psychology, Eötvös Loránd University, Budapest, Hungary. And at the moment, I'm also an immediate past president of the International Society of Hypnosis. And, well, of course, I had a lot of other affiliations, like I was one of the founders and a president, and at the moment I'm an honorary president of the Hungarian Association of Hypnosis, and I'm also a past president of the Hungarian Psychological Association and the past president of the European Society of Hypnosis too. Well, I think that's...
Mm-hmm. Could you tell me how you were first introduced to hypnosis?
Well, that's an interesting story because I was 7 years old, and after the Second World War in Hungary, there were a lot of need for iron. We were very poor after the World War. So elementary school children were asked to go and to collect iron. And I went to the elementary school, and I was in the very first grade, and we had 2 classes in that special school, one for boys and one for girls. So I was in a girls' class, of course, and there was a kind of a competition, and at the end of the year, it turned out that our class won the competition. And nobody understood how, because we were the smallest, and we didn't have really strength to collect iron. And once my mother came home from a meeting of parents and teachers, and we had a very nice habit in our family. It was more than a habit, it was a kind of a ritual, that we always had dinner together, and we were speaking about the day. And my mother came home after this meeting laughing and said, well, you know what Eva's teacher told us? A very nice story for the parents. She said, now she understood why that class, the first grade of girls, won the competition of collecting iron. Because when we left school, she saw a very peculiar moment when all the boys of the 8th grade, that means the 14 years, the oldest boys of the school, were waiting for Eva, and Eva told them, well, why don't you come and help us to collect iron? And she went, and all the boys followed him as if, and that's the important point, as if she had been hypnotizing them. That was the very first time I heard the word hypnosis and hypnotizing. So I said, well, what does it mean? What does it mean? I was listening to my mother, and I said, what does it mean? And my parents were very nice. You know, my father was a professor of mathematics. My mother was a professor of French language and literature. So they were very ready to answer this question. And they told me about hypnosis. And from that moment, from the age of 7, I became so deeply interested in hypnosis. You know, my teacher told me as if Eva had been hypnotizing those boys who followed her. So from then on, I read everything, what I could. And there was one very important thing. It turned out that it was very difficult to get the literature on hypnosis in Hungary, because in those years, during my secondary school years and during my university years, it was forbidden in Hungary. It was considered to be, as it was called, a bourgeois, anti-scientific, mystical humbug. And you see, like the forbidden apple, it became even more interesting for me. So once, as a 7-year-old child, I was called to be a hypnotist, and second, it was forbidden. So I decided I should learn about it. That's the story.